when you spoke at the event, you said something really powerful, which is, so you spoke after a few people talked about the feeling of alienation and the feeling of isolation and sort of like not being recognized for their work after it gets erased. And when you spoke, you said, what if we create a narrative that we can all be a part of? And that was inspiring for me and for a lot of people that were there. And I was just wondering if you could tell me a little bit more about that statement that you made.
Sure. I mean, I think that the artistic definition would be creating some sort of imagery that would represent a narrative that everybody cumulatively agreed upon.
Yeah.
But also in a deeper sense, creating a system narrative by which we can accomplish greater goals artistically in communities and cities. So instead of just putting up murals with the imagery that we like and then hoping that it sticks around, we need to dig deeper into the systems and the programs that allow for the longevity of these narratives,
Hmm.
these mural projects. And so getting involved with the powers that be, so to speak, the Denver arts and venues and
Hmm.
the different art districts that are essentially created to ensure that these projects are well done, that they do speak to the community at large.
Hmm.
Those are the projects and communities and people that we need to align ourselves with. So that way we don't run into a lot of the problems that you have when you do see redevelopment in historical areas. The capitalistic idea that you can just kind of like come into a culturally rich space and just kind of erase everything and then put whatever you want up there because that's what the new market calls for.
Right.
And there's so many different things that make a neighborhood what it is, but being able to preserve those things, whatever that particular community sees as important, you know, for some communities it might be murals. For some communities it might be the names of the streets. For some communities it might be the type of architecture that either exists or is allowed to be built there. But being able to build from the ground up programs that take that into consideration before the inevitability of change occurs, and essentially creating ethical development and ethical redevelopment through that process, recognizing the heritages that made that what it is and preserving it so that it doesn't lose its soul. Because I think, you know, from from my family's value, it's like you can't just erase everything, that made a neighborhood what it is to make room for something that doesn't really connect to that without eventually then losing that as well. It's all about building on top of that. So that way you can continue to bring forth all the things that are rich, and then
Exactly.
taking that into the next elevation of whatever is happening. And there's always ways to do that. I mean, that's the artistic process.
Yeah.
Is like, how do we preserve this and build this and make sure that we're providing a platform to build something even better further on down the road?